Now, I know right now some of my listeners are in a position where they're thinking, should I get into real estate? Should I get into commercial first? Or should I get into houses? And some of you have a few houses thinking, should I get into commercial or should I just get more houses? Well, here's a way to look at it, a way to think to clear up, let's say, moving forward. So let's say there's a duplex, and we'll keep it very simple. A duplex is a two-family home, and we'll keep it simple for price, just for math. Let's say it's $400,000. So it's not downtown Toronto or downtown New York. Now, let's say that when it's all said and done, that $400,000 house gives you a cash flow of $500 a month. So everything is paid off, and there's an abundance of $500 a month. See, most people want to buy real estate so they can replace their main income. And let's say that you want to replace $6,000 a month. Well, if one house at $400,000 gets you $500 cash flow, think about this. 500 times 12 houses gets you the 6,000 you need to retire or to replace your income. Imagine that. You'd need 12 houses. So it's not like you hear it on television, buy one or two properties and you're good to go. In fact, if you were to buy 12 houses at $400,000 each, you'd be putting out $4.8 million. So for some of you who are afraid of getting into commercial because you think it's expensive, you know what? In the long run, is commercial that more expensive? Well, here's why. Let's say you have a multifamily building. Let's say this is a 10-unit building, and it's about $2 million. So yeah, $2 million is more expensive than $400,000. But this $2 million property can generate you $3,000 a month cash flow. So what does that mean? It means if you times 3,000 by 2, you get to 6,000 with 2 buildings as opposed to 12 houses. Keeping in mind, when you have 12 houses, it's like having 12 kids. You're dealing with 12 roofs, 12 furnaces, 12 hot water tanks, 12 situations times the number of tenants you have. And these houses are not cheap. They're not built for tenants. They're built as homes, and now they've been converted to rentals. They get beaten up more, whereas commercial real estate has been built, set forth, and in the beginning to be stronger like a Jeep to take the abuse of rentals. Now, is it that much more expensive? Well, check this out. 2 times 2 million is 4 million. So 12 houses, 4.8, 2 buildings, 4 million, and perhaps you can even have these managed in the future so you're not actually dealing with them. Now, I get it. Some people are saying, but how do you get the money to actually buy buildings? Well, I use something called joint ventures, and I'll talk about this in more detail throughout my entire 100-video presentation. And a joint venture is really a couple partners. One's a passive investor who's just, let's say, putting the money in upfront, down payment and the mortgage, so they qualify. The other party for the next 5 years is the active investor, and they're doing all the work. And they do all the work for the next 5 years. And they split everything. They split the cash flow, they split the appreciation, they split the mortgage pay down. Now, some people might say to me, well, why would somebody put all the money in and only take half? It doesn't exist. Who would ever do that? Well, the truth is that has been happening in society for over 10,000 years. Let me explain. Focus on the lower portion of the screen. Couples, 2 parties, one 3 minutes, one 9 months. It's not an equal investment, but that child is 50-50. So this has been happening. Now you need to ask yourself, who is actually getting off a bit easier here? 3 minutes or 9 months? The passive investor puts their money on the table. I'm the person who has to work that property for the next 5 years. And again, I'm doing it so that I don't have to put my money in on the table or qualify and still be a partner to buy some of these bigger properties.